Just make it clap. Just make it clap. What a lovely treat this is. So today, it's a very special episode. I have with me my very long-time friend and today's co-host, Francisco Gomez.
AKA Sisco Gomezas.
And we are speaking to the one, the only, Chen Chen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Chen, how do I say your last name?
Is Xu, like,
Shu.
Like Shu.
yes.
Chen Shu.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, in Japan they just call me Xu. So, but yeah, Xu essentially. Yeah.
Ah, Chen Shu.
I always avoided
Is-
your name thinking it was hard.
Yeah, me too. I was always afraid to commit to the last name.
It's really hard for people to pronounce even if they're Chinese, like my full name, because it's really confusing.
What's your full name, guy?
My full name is Chen Chen.
Shu Chen Chen.
Shu Chen Cheng.
So in English they will reverse this Chen Chen Xu.
Oh, yes, you guys
Yeah.
do that.
And it's really hard to shout it out loud, so I just take Chen as my stage
Right.
name.
Oh, workstation name.
Come on, stage
Yeah.
name.
Just Chen.
I changed it to Chen Chen.
And I love that. Yeah.
I call him Madame Chen.
Madame Chen.
Madame
and now
Chen.
Johnny is calling me that as well
Does he call you
Nice.
Madame Chen?
all the time.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So, Chen, I want to talk about your journey coming to the UK from your hometown. And firstly, before we talk about you being here, why did you come here?
Why? It was actually funny. I wanted to go to America, but I had this like a school trip to Oxford, and then I visited UK on a random summer, and I really just, I don't know, my heart really just felt this is the right place for me to be. And I just decided to do my university here instead of the US. And yeah,
Also, it
that-
was for education purposes. You did.
It was
you
for
did uni here.
educational
Okay.
purpose,
And then you
yeah.
fell into dance because it was a hobby where you were back. Where are you from exactly in China?
so I was born in China, South China, a small city called Nanning.
Nanning.
Yeah. And
Did you dance there?
not at all. We don't have any dance studio. We don't have ballet classes. Like, we don't have any resources related to dance, really. And it
Really?
was quite a strict cultural environment. And my parents are both policemen. So I wasn't really from like artistic family environment as well. But I really just love watching, you know, like Asian artists and stuff growing up. And I just, yeah. But I was really dancing in the closet in my bedroom, and I never really realized it's something that I'm really passionate about. So I think I realized it when I was in Japan, doing like a year exchange. I joined this traditional Japanese dance club where there is like a actual, like a house, like a Vogue house. So they actually have like history and stuff, and I learned from like a sensei. So like each time before we start learning the dances, we will actually have like little ceremonies and stuff to just like,
Out of respect.
yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
it's really cool. And then I learned a lot of, I actually perform with all of them on stage, like all like the professional traditional Japanese dancers on the same stage. All I was doing is just like in like a seiza, is like a Japanese way of like that, and just there, and but I was in different pieces. And
Pieces.
Pieces.
He said pisses. I was like, whoa. This went south real quick.
Yeah, in bad English. Yeah. So that was where I started realize I really enjoy movement, even though it was like a very different type of movement. It's very slow. It's very controlled. It's like not enjoying, but like playing a character, whether it's like a geisha or a samurai. So that is the first time I really get to learn and training dance with like professional dancers.
Look at that. And your nickname from me is Madame Chen. And here you are being a madam in
I
Japan.
have a question, and be honest.
Be honest.
How like on this? How good are you at that style of dance?
The thing about dance in Asia is that it is not something that people will want you to get full time into it. So it's not like
Okay, so the person who taught you, would you say you would be qualified enough to also teach it now?
I was teaching like the club. So it was like a university club, but I was like recruiting new students, teaching them how to dress properly in the traditional Japanese costumes and use different little scents like a fan. They would dance with a fan. I was teaching almost like I was like the yeah, sort of like a co-president of the club at the time.
Come on.
I was just like, yeah, learning the dance from the sensei, and then I will go to the club and teach small sessions to people who wants to join. And yeah, I was doing
My
that.
favorite thing about doing these is that you learn new stuff about people, but then also I get these little ideas which I don't know why you wouldn't have already thought of, but this is your time. Why don't you teach this? Because there's going to be people from Asia or even people who are interested in that culture that might want to learn it. So if you're at a level where you're good enough to teach it, I don't know anyone, I've never even heard of anyone in the UK teaching this. Have you? And, you know, we've been around, especially you, a long time. Like, maybe this is an avenue. Maybe you can teach these things. I bet you if you go online, there's a community of Asian culture or people who have interest in Asian culture that would want to learn this.
Yeah, but I think at the time I was a university student, so I was really just focusing on my studies, so I didn't really think too much into it.
I know, but now, for
The
your
now
future,
is-
progressing forward, this could be something that you like, you know, we always see like Bollywood dance taught in the UK. Like we see Bollywood dance classes, we see all these different cultures. Like we see Gaelic dancing when you go to different parts of the UK, where they teach a specific style of dance because it's about the culture, not to be like, oh, I do this style of dancing, I want to dance for Britney, but because people have an interest in those things.
Yeah,
Like you should look into that. That's a huge, especially if no one's doing it. That's your own niche.
yes, I realized that this year. Like I was doing Tali's program, where I realized my dance background from that specific style, I can almost like fusion it a little bit into contemporary dance here, and yeah, like there are also people telling me like you should use that as a niche. It's just like the style itself, it requires like costumes, it requires like proper training, but I will look into it. Yeah.
I think that'd be dope. I'd come.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn
Yeah.
something new. Might help me with my fluidity.
It's a very unique style of moving, and I really didn't connect that style of dance with the styles here. But in the artist development program, I made the connection and I was able to just have different texture, and it was like a light bulb moment. Yeah, like thing. Yeah.
So you come to London and you're here because of your uni, and then you've mentioned that you did Tali's program. But how did you stumble into dance then? Because then you were like, you know, you just appeared out of nowhere one time and you were doing every single class,
I'd
single
never seen
program.
you. I think I saw you once. Like you came here. I don't know if that was your first introduction to dance, but I saw you here, and then from then on, I feel like I've never not seen you since.
Funny enough, that was the thing I wanted to talk about here because so the episode 153, where the
Come on,
amazing
number.
Cisco Gomez was
that's-
interviewed.
That's what we recorded here as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
He went rogue on that episode. Yeah, go on.
that episode changed my life. So, well, first thing is back then I didn't know who Cisco is. I just
Me either.
and Kane was like research
Somebody, I know.
the dancers, and I did some research about Cisco. I found out who he is, and then I was like, wow, he's a real, you know, like a dance god, something like that. And then you guys finished recording that episode of podcast, and then you guys came out of the room. I was happened to be there, and then Cisco just like see me and recognize me, and he say, "We were just talking about you," and give me a high five. And that was like a huge, like someone famous, like remembered me because I at the time didn't really believe I can make it here in this industry. Like people would like me as like a person who wants to dance from a different country. But what Cisco, that small gesture, and just really somehow gave me a huge motivation. And the second thing is what Cisco said in the episode, Like literally at the beginning, he just say you should train you should master as many styles as possible. I take that like real hardcore. I thought that is how every dancer is trained here, and
They
Supposed
don't.
to.
They
Supposed to, but
I realized that a year later. But at the time, I didn't know. I only found out like there's like dance colleges like this here in the UK because it does not exist in my country at all, and yeah, I took everything Cisco said in that episode to the heart, and I was just like followed it. I just did what he said. That's what I did, which is like train 5 styles a week.
work. Actually, I
And
remember.
because I thought if I want to be a dancer here, I have to be super versatile. I have to, because I didn't know about industry here. I didn't know a lot about it. So I just like, this guy is like super famous. He's a dance judge. He's like a dance god. And I know how he dances. His dance amazes me. And then I'm like,
At 25, you'd be like lapping this up.
Whatever.
Now just internally you do it.
Whatever.
Go on.
yeah, but that was the story at the time. So I was just like,
Can I just tell you, you sound like I did when I was 18 about him. So don't worry.
yeah, I met Cisco. Yeah, funny enough, I met Cisco the first time. I think it's in Alex Shondorf's class. I didn't know who he was, and and he said he's a TV host, and then since stumbled. But I took his class for the first time in base camp, which was followed by Jimmy Williams lock-in. I couldn't do either of them. I couldn't pick up a single step. But something about Cisco's way of teaching just made me want to raise my hand and ask a question. And and just a lot of things just made me feel like I can do it even if I don't know it yet. I can ask questions. It's a safe environment to learn. I can go to Jimmy's class and I didn't know what that is at the time. And there was like so many amazing dancers in that camp, specifically like Claudia and Oliver. Like there was like a lot of already super good dancers, and I was like really intimidated. But yeah, something about Cisco's teaching just made me feel like I can ask a question. I don't know a single step, but I want to ask a question. I want to get this right. Yes, it started from there. And then I start going to different classes, Alex Shondorf's, Cisco's, and I met Marco as well in that camp. I was doing locking, house, whacking. I even went to like an intermediate advanced breaking class, recklessly.
Come on, recklessly. Shout out Team Wales, recklessly.
Yeah.
My boy.
Oh my gosh, Chen, in that time, you doing breaking, that's what I would love to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost cried in that class because I can't pick up a single
Do you know
move.
what's so mad is like you say to people you need to do all these things and everyone goes yeah. No one does it. Like no one does it to that extent. And actually, like the one thing I always vouch for you, Chen, is your ability to go in a room that you're super maybe vulnerable and you're not the thriving person in the room and be completely okay with it and know that you have to be a beginner before you're a master.
Yeah.
And you're never discouraged. And that is my biggest admiration. Like I remember the first time you came here to the program and like you struggled a lot and I was thinking, oh, he's never coming back. He hates this. He's gonna hate it. And then next thing I get a message like, can I come next month? I'm like, oh my god. Honestly, the admiration I have for your ability to overcome your ego.
Yeah.
Because like ego is the enemy, and like I teach 500, 600 students every single week, and if they could take 20% of the courage that you have, because at the time, like essentially they're in a space where they get more training than you do because they do it full time every single day, 6 lessons a day. If they could take that 20% of what you have to overcome those things, everyone would progress like you've progressed. But no one does. Everyone's ego's the
And
biggest
so
barrier.
sensitive too. Just a little context, Chen he would be in every single class. You would take, I think, 3 to 4 classes per day.
Yeah.
You would just be in every single class. Mind you, a beginner back in the day and front and center.
Yeah.
No.
And that was, half he didn't know dance etiquette. He used to take the whole class down sometimes. But to echo what Kane was saying, it was just this like, what I felt is as soon as you make the decision to like give this a shot, you were so tunnel vision about it and no one could tell you any different. And you work in 20, if not 30, 40 times harder than a dancer who's been semi-established for years in this country.
I think you've trained harder in the time that you've been here than most people probably do in 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I only got this visa. It was like it's almost like the pandemic happened. I was like I'm not sure if I'm gonna stay in this country or not, and I learned that I can gain a visa just by graduating my course, and it's gonna allow me to do whatever the F that I want to do, because usually when you get a visa there's a lot of restrictions come with it, and I know this is almost like a once in a lifetime chance that I can get a visa that allows me to do whatever I really desire to do. And I was really lucky enough to just randomly walk in base. Alex Shondo was there. I couldn't pick up a single step, and one thing led to another. She was posting on her story this Instant Hours podcast program. It says it's going to take your dance to the next level. It took my dance, to another dimension. And yeah, from there, I met Sisco. It's just one thing led to another. But yeah, I think meeting you guys and witnessing your guys' dancing, because it's different from like someone going to a studio and giving steps. Like you guys will leave yourself and your heart on the dance floor, and it really affected me, made me want to do it. And at the time I didn't know what it is. All I thought is just like I want to dance like that person and that person and that person, and later I found out they're just that specific group of persons. Yeah, you guys all train together, and yeah, somehow I just want to. I say to myself, I have 2 years. I don't know what it is. I want to figure out what it is. And yeah, I just tried to figure it out.
So now you think you figured it out. You know what you want to do. You want to be here and you want to be a commercial dancer. Is that right?
Yes. It took a lot of like personal work to really, and as an Asian person, it really is like an act of rebellion to say, I want to be an artist. Like it's really hard for me to say that sentence if I was back in my country, because it's so hard to survive there as an art person.
So would that be frowned upon if you'd said that at home?
Yeah, especially I think as a Chinese, in most case people will want you to do business because that's a safe route to go. My parents really, don't wish me to go for something that is not stable, like self-employed. That would be the scariest thing for them to imagine. But for this year, for me to make the decision that, I want to lead for myself. I want to do this for the sake of my own. I learned it from Cisco's programs again and again. It's like,
ESG.
yeah. So a lot of, ADP. I don't know if I can say that.
ADP, this is the syllabus. Acknowledge, dismantle, and proceed.
Like, don't stop until you win. And I have to battle that inner demon that was like conditioned into me as a child again and again, to really reach a stage to say, like, I want to do this. Why do I just keep talking myself out of doing it because of this and this and that and that? Like, you have this opportunity and all these amazing people in front of you, so just go for it. Just don't give a fuck about it. And yeah.
Why do you think, how do I word this correctly? Why do you think that you have managed to build a relationship with people who are, between us, especially Cisco, we are very established in this field and we've done a lot. What quality is it that you think you have that has made us gravitate to you and you gravitate to us? considering how many people we both have taught for the past decade plus years. Because I don't think there's many people, for me, which maybe who would come at you where you were at on your dance journey, which we would be this invested in.
I would say I keep being grateful about you guys every day. That is something that is, I don't know, I practice gratitude a lot. That's the first thing pop up in my mind, because for me, having the chance to live my truths is not something I'm granted as a person, and I didn't even know what it is, but you guys saw it in me, and you guys gave me a chance to be who I want to be, or like who I am. And I'm really, really, really grateful that, I can feel safe, I can feel supported. It's just those little things that I didn't really receive when I was like probably a young child who really enjoys dancing and music and singing. I didn't receive any of that. So when you sent me a message, when I posted about like, oh, how am I gonna be picked over a dance college graduate, and then you send me a message, hey, sky is the limit, like don't say something like that. That really, and small gesture like Cisco be like, we're just talking about you, and I see passion in you, and stuff like that really, because I didn't know what it is. I just look at you guys and I was like, oh my God, they're incredible. They're so amazing. I want to be like that. And just the little gestures and support and words of encouragement really started my journey. And I keep reminding myself, it took so long for this to happen, and you guys, helped me along the way. I'm just really, really grateful about it. And I think because dance for me is not something that I can just do, even if I want to, even if I have the funds to do. I have to work really hard to finally get to where I am, to say, I'm going to do what I want to do. So when I finally get to that point, I met you guys, and you guys gave me the most incredible. You guys taught me your crafts. Like, it's not just how to do a kickball change. It's not just how to, do a jazz funk shape, but it's more about how to dance with your heart and your soul, and how to, have fun and be yourself.
It sounds like you're discovering yourself through dance.
Yes.
And I think, I don't believe in accidents. And I always say there's a difference between like a teacher and an educator. I think your passion really translated and really kind of pierced through the rest of the classes, because it's like, what you just said, Kane, there's so many dancers that are just a little more privileged in the sense that they have colleges or they have access to these classes because they're a certain level. And here this, at the time, this novice comes in out of nowhere and it's just wrong and strong, but has so much passion, and so that gravitates towards the teacher and student relationship, because you're like, that's what I want. Because sometimes it's past steps, isn't it? We just want passion, reciprocation, and honesty, but also obedience, right? Because if you're listening to how the teacher is teaching, it makes us want to come back. And how awesome that it happened kind of simultaneously with me and him, and knowing our history of
how you describe Cisco, when I was growing up, that's what Cisco was to me. So like when I was 18, he was my hero. I mean, he still is, but now he's my friend. But at the time we weren't friends. He was my hero. It was my dream. My dream was to get into his company. It wasn't to be a professional dancer. It was to get into his company, because I knew the stepping stones to being a professional dancer. And at the time, all the best dancers that I looked up to had trained under him, or was him and Kim. So I was like, okay, for me to reach there, I have to get there. I have to get into his company, and I have to make friends and understand the circles that he dances in and he trains in. And then that's what like catapulted me onto my journey and my career. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I feel like what I see in you is what I had. Because like, it was a very different time and a long time ago, but where I'm from in Wales, like dance wasn't thing that boys did.
Yeah.
Like we had to mask our dance classes. Like they came into my school and sold it as boys on scooters, and you'd only be allowed to scoot if there was music on. And it
yeah, I
made you
remember
fall in love with music, not in love with dance. And then you'd be like, who can run and jump over each other? Who can run and who can climb the highest up the wall? But you were only ever allowed to play the games when music was playing. So it was all about building a relationship with music and movement and music simultaneously. And then they'd go, look at this breakdancing. This is cool. And they'd slowly introduce you to understanding what dance is. And, you know, from a family which did rugby and football and painter and decorators and labor workers, dance was so alien. They were like, what? My mum was amazing, super supportive. But everyone around me, my school, I was an alien. They were like, what? I was the only one that did it. And then I made a best friend, got him to tag along and convinced him it was a cool thing. So like when I managed to be introduced to, you know, doing competitions, and then I saw people like Sisco, and I was like, oh, there's an avenue I can escape my small-minded community at the time, and I can make a career of this, because I'd be like at careers day at school.
Yeah.
I want to be a dancer, and they'd be like, choose a real job. Like it was something which was so off limits and alien.
Yeah.
So I feel like your tenaciousness to thrive and succeed when you come in a room really reminded me of me. Like I used to get a mega bus from Cardiff at 3 a.m. so I could go to Dance to Excess, and then I'd get home at like 10 o'clock at night.
I
Like
would book a
those
whole
things.
trip to Manchester just to take a Cisco Gomez masterclass.
Did you?
I did. He didn't. Yeah, he doesn't remember me, and he didn't know me at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, at that time I was just like the random guy who comes in who just at the beginner level.
Oh wait, I do remember that. I was
It's
like, oh,
twice.
you're here.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
I would do all that like.
Yeah, you really do. You really do put the work in. I think it's passion. I think passion attracts passion. And even though Kane and I are very different teachers with different methods, we really do love dance. We have a respect and love for dance. And even though your journey when you came to us was very young, again, you two kind of connected, and you saw yourself in him. And for me, it's like it's that familiar energy of a student that I want to invest in because I know what that student can be. You know what I mean? Like. Those type of students don't come very often because it's like a dedication that you're like, but your blinkers are really focused, laser focused. And that's all we ask for teachers and students in any style, I think. I think it's just be laser focused because then you get the best results. And I think you definitely don't like that, Mr. Chen Chen. You don't like that at all. You are so laser focused and like you train your ass off.
I wish I was as brave as you when I was on my journey. I wish I was as courageous as you are, and that's my biggest admiration that you have is your tenaciousness to succeed. But you're so willing to fail. And there's some things that everyone now, especially even I was, but on the generation we're in of dancers who are normally where you're at on a dance journey, not so much now, but at the beginning, people are afraid to fail.
Yeah, it's really ballsy what you're doing.
Like, and you without a doubt every time would come in and give it your all, even if it wasn't 100% perfect. No one could knock your effort. Like I would have always maybe give you an A for effort, if not an A for execution. But for sometimes, to me, like as a educator of dance for many people of a long time and loving dance more than I love anything in the world, like your effort to be great was far more attractive than really exceptionally talented dancers' execution because their effort was bang average. But your effort was superior. It was a different mentality. And I was like, as long as you keep going, the execution will come. And it's look at it shows.
So I think to wrap this up, I think it's very important to hear your point of perspective in the sense like I think you found us kind of by coincidence, but then because of research, it led you to the next place and the next place. So what do you think you would give a new school dancer the tips of how to find a teacher that works for them? Because I think that's the biggest thing where like a lot of students go to teachers just to be in the class, but is it personalized to your growth? And you seem to find that sweet spot with two people, which is very rare. So what would be your tip for the new school dancer or the up and coming dancer?
My tip was very easy, I guess. Just find someone that really, really inspires you. Like, like it has to hit you so hard. It feels like a big band in your head. Like I remember, like literally exactly 2 years ago, I filmed my first ins and outs. The filming day is literally 2 years ago now. Um, and you did the Ariana, the artist role. And when we were doing the interaction, when I look into your eyes, I was like, that is not a ginger, that is Ariana Grande right there.
Wow.
And
That's
Word.
I don't know, even though it was like hip hop and stuff like that, it really inspires me that you can be as versatile because it's like a female artist. And it's like, I love that song. It's like Ariana's like, problem. And you were acting as that artist
Don't
role.
tell
and
everyone.
She wore a skirt to the event too.
Anyway, that inspired me. And same with Cisco, when I chased you up to Manchester and we're doing Twice and we did like a stage walk, and the way you walk, you were literally Beyonce to me.
I do have a good walk.
I literally felt like I was walking next to Beyonce, even I didn't even know the count. I would just feel like you were so powerful, just dancing with you. I feel like almost like your energy penetrated into me.
Good word.
Like we were just walking, we were just doing stage walk, but I really felt like I'm almost like, dancing with Ariana Grande, or like I'm walking with Beyonce, like these small things that really just hit me. Like when I first started dancing with you guys, and that was my easy, and then everything just comes naturally because like if you find your inspiration, you just research about your inspirations, and then what Cisco would say, like who my inspiration trained under, and then I start taking Jimmy's class, I start taking John and Marco's class, and
You do take good classes.
because
I genuinely think you probably have the best training out of anyone I know.
He really does.
Because you really listen to like the people,
Yeah.
about.
But I
You don't
only-
just follow the crowd.
I literally just listening to you two. Like, it started with who Ken Silver is trained under. It leads to Sisco Gomez. Who trained Sisco Gomez? Jimmy Williams is here. John Marco is here. I don't think I can do their steps. But Sisco had his class and say 7 p.m. John Marco's no excuse. I just go. What I wanted to do was just see how a legend would take class. That's what my intention going into my first ever John and Marco's class. And I survived this somehow. And I also get to see how Cisco took class and stuff like that. And then just like, I don't know, it's like you have this map just slowly expand in front of your eyes. It's just following your inspirations. That's
awesome. That's really awesome. An honor to hear as
Yeah.
well, because I think, I don't know about you, Kane, but I think you give so much to students, and Chen's one of those rare students that really reciprocates the effort that we bring to him, and he can't obviously give it in dance because you don't teach, so we can't take your class, but you do give it to us in gestures. You're very honest with us, and I think that if you're in the dance world, you definitely know who Chen is. And I think he is an example in so many other ways. And it's just great that we can see there's so much more nuance past choreography. It's a discipline. It's a love for it. It's respect. To hear respect from a student who's trying to make it, you know what I mean? You never get used to that. So just know that it's very reciprocated, the effort and the love and the appreciation for you. And I totally think that you've got a very specific kind of lane, but you're definitely going to make it because you're doing everything right. I just think you've learned how to walk, talk, jump, and work in the space of like 2 years or 3 years. What is it, your third year?
now is my
So it's just come to your
it's
second year,
just
hasn't it?
yes.
So
because,
it's the before and after is no joke. So you're doing it right. So
And-
I hope this inspires just dancers in general, because what's your excuse really?
Yeah.
Honestly, if Chen can do
you
it.
inspire me everywhere we go. I mean, everywhere I teach, you seem to be taking the intensive or wherever I'm teaching, and I always make a point of saying how much you inspire me, because you do.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We
And it's
don't-
just clear. Ins and out, or PSG, places to be.
Love. Chen Chen, we love you.
We love you. We can't
Thank
wait
you
to
for
be to the
having
next
me.
chapter of your career, my friend.
Can't wait
Good
for you
night,
to
high
hire me
five.
on a job.
Right?
Please.
More
highly.
assisting, more working, more teaching, more
Yeah.
everything. hope you get
I
it in
think I want you to
abundance.
teach me some, what's this called?
You just want to do that for an Ariana
yeah.
Grande concert video,
Japanese
don't you?
dance, yeah.
I want to do this now.
I will do. Yeah.
It's like Snake. Peace out, team. Love. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us all on Instagram. Bye, Felicia.
Bye.